I'm going to break down exactly how to become a real estate agent. My name's Andy Coleman. I've closed over 900 real estate deals. I'm a 5-time Icon Award winner. I was ranked number 2 in the world, and I've made over millions of dollars in the last 6 years. So I want to pass some of this knowledge along to new and up-and-coming realtors, because I think it's an amazing time to become an agent. You could make so much money in 2026. So today, I'm going to explain how. From getting your real estate license, to picking a brokerage, to lead generation, and closing lots of deals in your first year. So first, you have to decide if you're gonna do this full-time or if you're gonna do this part-time. Now, what I suggest is getting into real estate full-time is risky, right? Because we work based on commission. We're not gonna get a salary. So if you have a full-time job, I would recommend sticking with your full-time job for now, getting your real estate license and doing it part-time. And as you start closing more deals and making money in real estate, then you could actually go full-time and quit your regular job. I just wanted to throw that out there because we have a pretty high failure rate for real estate agents, but it's because they're making one giant mistake, which I'm going to address and fix in this video. So now let's go over how to get your real estate license. So the first thing you want to do is pick a real estate school. Honestly, it doesn't really matter which real estate school you pick. Just read the reviews, make sure it's reputable. Typically, depending on what state you're in, it's going to be around a 63-hour class, and you're going to have to take 2 tests at the end. A state test and a national test. Now, here's a secret. At the end of every single chapter, you're gonna have practice questions. What I recommend is memorizing those practice questions, just taking those practice tests until you have it down perfectly. And then at the end of the book, there's also gonna be a practice test. So if you just study those practice tests, you should easily pass your test, like your state test, on the first try. Now, after you pass your test, you're gonna get licensed. I want to go over how much you're going to have to spend in fees every year. Aside from the class, which is really cheap, it's only going to be a few $100, you're typically going to have to pay MLS dues. This is going to be around $700 to $800 per year. And you could break this down per month if you want. And if you're wondering what an MLS is, it's basically a custom way to search for and list any kind of properties that you want. And typically the public doesn't have access to this, which is what makes realtors so valuable, because we do get access to this. You're also gonna have brokerage fees, which we're gonna talk about in a second on which brokerage you should join. But typically a brokerage will charge you a desk fee every month, and it ranges from $50 to $100, depending on which brokerage you choose. There's really only your MLS dues and your monthly brokerage fees, and just paying for gas money. Okay, so assuming you did my tips and you passed your test on your first try, which real estate brokerage should you join? There's gonna be 4 types of brokerages that you can join. So the first one, this is a 100% commission brokerage. The second one is gonna be your local mom and pop brokerages. And the third one is gonna be a cloud-based, like a tech-based brokerage. And the fourth one, this is gonna be your old school legacy brokerages. Let me go through some of them really fast. So if you wanna join a 100% commission brokerage, I think this is actually really good for new agents, because I'm gonna be honest, and this might piss off some realtors if they're watching this right now, but brokerages, they are not gonna help you whatsoever on making money. They are really only there so you can hang your license and basically teach you the legalities behind doing real estate. Even EXP Realty, the brokerage I'm with, I mean, I love them. I've been with them for 6 years. I was one of their top agents in the world, but they never taught me how to make money. They did have my back though, and they have a lot of awesome perks, which I'll get into. So that's why I say, for a brand new agent, just join a 100% commission brokerage, and there are tons of free YouTube videos out there that will teach you how to generate leads, how to close deals, and how to work with different clients. Now, the second option, you can go with a local mom and pop brokerage. Typically, they're gonna be really good on the commission split. Some of them are gonna do like a 90-10 or a 95-10 split, which is very close to 100%. And you're gonna get the added benefit of having a local office that gives you a ton of support. Now, I would only recommend doing this if they give you a really advantageous split. Otherwise, if they're taking anything over 20%, there's a much better option. There's a cloud-based tech brokerage. Now, EXP Realty was the first cloud-based brokerage to exist, and then a bunch of copycats opened up, like Real Brokerage, LPT, Epic Brokerage. Those are the big ones, but EXP is the original, and I think we currently have about 90,000 agents. So if you're gonna join like a new age brokerage, which is kind of like the Tesla or Amazon of real estate, I would always recommend going with EXP Realty. But there's a catch, because they take 20% of your commission, meaning you're on an 80-20 split. So I'll give you an example. If you get a deal for $10,000, right? Let's say you work with a buyer, you're going to actually give EXP $2,000 and you're going to walk away with $8,000. Now, do you understand why I said 100% commission brokerage might not be a bad idea if you're new? But a brokerage like EXP is really good because we have something called rev share. So if you do bring on other agents, right? So you basically just recruit them, as you're doing real estate deals, you're going to get up to $5,000 per agent per year. But again, this is not for new realtors. You don't have any credibility, you have no experience built up, so how on earth are you going to bring on other agents? It just never made any sense to me. So I think a brokerage like EXP is really good once you get your feet wet, you're closing deals, you have some experience, then you go to EXP for the perks. Because if you actually reach what's called cap, you're going to get 100% commission. And then they do something even better. Once you reach icon, which is just doing a couple extra deals on top of capping, you're going to get that first 20% back. So it's $16,000 because it's an $80,000 cap. And I don't want to confuse you with the details here, but just know you will get $16,000 in stock every single year if you icon. Okay, and fourth, we don't want to leave these out. They're the old school legacy brokerages. It's your Keller Williams, your Remaxes, your Compasses, these kind of brokerages that have been around forever. They basically started the game, which is cool, but it's kind of like working with a brokerage that hasn't really adapted to the times. Let me give you an example. Keller Williams is going to charge you a 70-30 split, and technically, they're not even an official cloud-based brokerage. So even if you want to become a broker one day, they're going to charge you these crazy brokerage fees. I just don't think it's a great idea for a new agent to join one of these companies, considering they're not going to help you make any kind of money whatsoever. They're kind of just going to take it. Don't get me wrong. They have some really good trainings for new agents. I don't want to say that. But at the end of the day, you could learn all of this stuff online. Or you could even go to your MLS board and they hold a ton of these free classes for you. Okay, so now that you know how brokerages work and hopefully which one to join, what do you actually focus on? Well, there's literally only three options. So you have your sellers that you can focus on, you have your buyers, or you have renters. Three options, that's it. That's the only way you're gonna make money in real estate. Now, just remember this because this is extremely important. If you've ever played a video game before, we're gonna kind of put it in video game terms. If you wanna work with sellers and become a listing agent, this is expert mode, okay? The hardest of the hard, not for new agents. But if you wanna work with buyers, it's kind of a step down a little bit. And it's kind of like playing the game on hard. So again, it's okay for new agents if you're really sharp, determined, and you're gonna work really hard, but in 2026, we're not in a buyer's market. That's the only problem. Now, the third option, and by far the best option imaginable in real estate, is working with renters. And this means you're gonna become a rental agent, but it's like working on easy mode. I mean, literally, it is the low-hanging fruit that 99.9% of agents ignore, and I think that's why we have a 90% failure rate. I've been doing rentals for the last 6 years. I've closed over 900 deals, and guess what? I've turned hundreds of renters into buyers and landlords into sellers. So I do way more sales than the average agent, but I've never focused on buyers or sellers in my career. I just focus on the renters. And trust me, I'm going to explain exactly how you can do this as well. But first, I want to talk about the commission structure. So working with renters, you're going to get about half a month's rent commission. Sometimes a little bit less depending on what state you are if you work with the tenant. But if you work with the landlord, you're actually going to get a full month's rent commission, which is a lot. Think about it, right? If your average rent is, let's say, $2,500 in your area, you're gonna make $2,500 per deal. The best part about this, you're gonna do volume. So instead of just doing one deal or two deals, every few months, you're gonna do 10 deals every single 30 days. That's how you stack up all of these rental deals to make tens of thousands of dollars per month as a brand new agent. And I'm gonna tell you exactly how to get the leads to do this. First, let me explain the commission structure for buyers and sellers. So if you're working with buyers, you're typically gonna get about half of what the listing agent gets. So you've probably heard this before. There was a whole NAR settlement lawsuit about this, 6% commission. Typically 3% goes to the buyer's agent, 3% goes to the seller's agent. So if you're a buyer's agent and you have a $500,000 property, if you get 3% of that, that's about $15,000 that you're gonna get in pure cash in one deal, which is why people really don't like doing rentals that much because they see these huge checks and they're like, why would I do a rental if I can get 5 times as much money by working with a buyer? Well, it's because renters are 10 times easier and you can close 10 times more of them. And if you start working with buyers and sellers as a brand new agent, I'm sorry, but the average agent is not going to close a deal for 9 months, which gets kind of difficult. How do you pay your rent at that point? That's why I always recommend rentals first. And again, if you work with the sellers as a listing agent, you're going to get that full 6% commission if you double end it, meaning if you bring the buyer to the seller, you're going to actually get the full thing, which could be $30,000 on a $500,000 home. Okay, so now that you know which type of clients you should focus on, rentals, how do you go about getting leads? Because let me tell you, this is by far the most important thing you can do as a real estate agent. Now remember, there's 3 different clients you could work with, right? You have your buyers, sellers, and your renters. Let's start with the seller leads. And again, if you're a new agent, I really don't recommend this. But if you're curious, you could do something called FSBO cold calling. It's for sale by owner. So a lot of these people out there, they're gonna own a home and not wanna pay these real estate commissions. So they're gonna take their property and they're gonna put it on a site like Zillow, and it's gonna be called a for sale by owner. So a lot of agents actually call these FSBOs and they try to convince them to use them as their real estate agent to represent them and put their property in the MLS. So they actually have a licensed realtor trying to sell their home. Now, this strategy used to work a long time ago. And it's basically free. You don't really have to spend that much money on getting leads for this. But the only problem is we have literally millions of agents trying to do the same thing. So there's so much competition. This strategy has been oversaturated for a decade now. Now, if you want to get buyer leads, again, it gets a little bit easier, but it is still hard mode. So there's a few options here. One, and this is something your brokers are probably going to tell you to do, hold open houses. This is where you basically take another agent's listing, because you're probably not going to have a listing at this point, and then you go and sit their open house. So they typically do it every Saturday and Sunday, and you're going to be there for about 2 or 3 hours or so. You're going to put out some signs in the front of the yard, have a little check-in sheet, and you're going to have buyers come in, hopefully without another real estate agent. But that's why this could be a little tricky, because what if they come in and they're with a realtor? Well, then it's not a lead for you. The whole point of doing an open house is getting leads. So if you don't have a lot of buyers even show up to these open houses, you've just wasted hours of your time setting up signs, sitting there waiting for people to come by, dealing with people that have real estate agents. So in 2026, doing open houses is not great because, again, it's not a buyer's market. So a lot of buyers, they're just not showing up anymore. Okay, the third one, and this is by far the best, is getting rental leads, because this is the easiest thing you could possibly do. And I'm not even exaggerating. Still to this day, I get 100 rental leads every single day. It works really well in this market because, as you've probably seen on the news, sellers outnumber buyers by a very large margin.
According to real estate tracker Redfin, as of April, there were an estimated 1.9 million home sellers in the U.S. and only about 1.5 million home buyers. That marks nearly 34% more sellers than buyers.
Meaning buyers can't afford to buy homes right now. Everything's just too expensive and the inventory is still relatively low. So what does that mean? It means that everybody's renting, just sitting on the sidelines, basically on strike right now, waiting for the prices to come down.
Buy a house tomorrow if the price was right, if the interest rates were where they needed to be.
But mortgage rates are near 7% and home prices at record highs. Since the pandemic, the median single-family home price has soared almost $100,000, now topping $400,000.
So if you target these renters, you're going to have a very easy time getting deals closed. So the easiest way to get rental leads, if you go into your MLS, you're going to see a bunch of rental properties. Now, in some states, we have something called Any Broker Advertise, and they're going to allow you to advertise their property. If you don't have that, that's okay. You could actually call up the rental listing agent and ask them for permission to advertise it. Just say you're a brand new agent and you're not having much luck with buyers and sellers, and you just want to close a couple deals and try to bring them a tenant. If you say that, they're going to say yes every single time. Take that rental listing, that's not even yours, and advertise it on a free site like Facebook Marketplace. You wouldn't even believe how many tenants are going to reach out to you every single day. Like literally, you will have leads coming in. If you try this right now, you're going to have leads coming in within 24 hours. That's how fast this works. It's very effective. And you're going to have hundreds, thousands coming in per month. As a brand new agent, this is by far the best way to get leads. Okay, so now that you know how to get tons of leads for buyers, sellers, and renters, what do you actually do to close the deals? Okay, so let's start with the sellers. So first, you're going to have to go on what's called a listing appointment. You're going to have to convince the seller to actually use you to sell their house, which again is very difficult with no experience. But let's just say somehow that happens. You're going to take that property and you're going to put it in your local MLS. And then you're going to advertise it on various sites. Once it's listed, you're going to have other agents bring their clients to your property, and hopefully you're going to get presented an offer. So as the listing agent, you're basically just sitting back and relaxing, just waiting for offers to come to you, unless you want to be proactive and try to find the buyer as well. So let me tell you what you have to do if you get a buyer, which is going to be a lot more likely as a new agent. The primary goal here is setting them up on a search on the MLS, right? Like a custom search, so you can show them a lot of properties that fit their criteria. And then you're just going to follow up with them and make sure that they're finding properties that they actually like. Once they do, they're going to send them over to you. You're going to look them up, make sure it fits their criteria, and then you're going to set up showings. So the bulk of your time is going to be showing properties. Once you actually see the properties, you're going to write up an offer. This is going to be on a standard as-is contract, and you're just going to do the comps just to find out what you should actually put the offer in for. So if you don't know what comps are, it's a comparable market analysis. You're actually going to look up all the neighbors' properties to see what they've sold for in the last 3 months. And then you're going to put an offer in similar to that. Once your offer gets accepted, your buyer's going to put down an earnest money deposit, just so they have skin in the game. Typically, it's going to be something small, like 1 to 3% of the purchase price. From there, the buyer is going to file for the loan. And then honestly, you're basically just going to sit back and wait. Yes, you have to do small little things like the inspection, you got to get it clear to close, but a lot of it is just waiting and solving problems. Assuming that everything goes well, you're going to get the clear to close, meaning the buyer's going to be eligible to receive their loan, and you're going to meet everybody at the title company for the closing. And the best part is, the second the buyer gets the keys, you get your big, huge commission check. Okay, so now that you know how to work with buyers and sellers, how do you work with a renter? Well, it's actually going to be very similar to working with a buyer, except 1/100th the work and almost nothing that can go wrong. The thing is with a renter, you're only going to show them a couple properties. It's not like a buyer where, like I said, you might show them 20 to 40 properties and it might stretch out over a lot of months. For a renter, you're probably going to show 1, 2, maybe 3 properties at the absolute most. And typically, they're only going to be looking for about a week or so. And they're probably going to move in the following week or the week after. It's very, very quick. So you could actually time every single deal you do, and you're probably only spending 1, 2, or 3 hours. And that includes driving to the couple showings that you're going to do, writing up a quick little offer, gathering a rental application, and then sitting back and waiting for the final walkthrough. And at these final walkthroughs, it's the same thing as when you work with a buyer, except you're going to get paid at the actual final walkthrough. The listing agent is typically going to hand you your commission check. If you want to do quick math, if you do close 5 or 10 of these rentals in a month at $1,500 a piece, you're easily going to walk away with $15,000. And the cool part is it's really consistent. So you can keep doing this every single month as you slowly scale. I mean, I literally made $510,000 in pure commission because remember, these leads that I get are free. And that's typically your biggest overhead is your ad spend on leads. But if you're working with renters, you don't have that. It doesn't exist because you're getting free leads. Okay, so now that you know how to get your license, which brokerage to choose, how to get leads, and what to do with these leads once you get them, what do you do next? Well, this is really going to depend. If you're doing this part-time, then I suggest just doing real estate for 2 to 4 hours a day whenever you have some spare time. But if you're doing it full-time, you have to remember, this is not a 9-to-5 job. There's nobody looking over your shoulder telling you what to do every single day. That's going to be up to you. So I would recommend getting up in the morning, doing your lead generation, going to do some showings during the afternoon, writing up your offers after that, and then maybe going back and doing a little bit more showings after people get off of work, and then going back to putting offers in. That's honestly the average day of a real estate agent. And trust me, your brokers are going to tell you about your sphere of influence. Completely ignore it. Because a lot of times, your sphere of influence, they don't want to buy a house right now because it's way too expensive. So all you're going to be doing is annoying them. And by the way, you're a brand new agent. Why would they want to trust you with the biggest purchasing decision of their life? Typically, they're not. They're going to want to deal with somebody experienced, even though they know you. Maybe you're their cousin, their best friend. Doesn't matter at that point. So always start off with the low-hanging fruit, which is the renters, and then you can kind of slowly upgrade into the buyers, into the sellers as you get more experience in your career. By the way, if you want to work with renters, I actually created an entire rental system. I've taught about 600 agents how to do this in the last 2 years. Some of them are closing 20 deals a month.
First month with you, I believe I closed 20, it was April. So 23 in April.
I'm not even exaggerating. They're making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 every 30 days, and a lot of these agents were brand new. The average agent I teach, they close 5 or 6 deals in their first month. So if you're having some problems when you actually get your license and start doing any of these strategies, go to richardrantals.com and I would love to help you out. If you have any questions on anything I went over at all, drop them in the comments. I'm going to be there to answer each and every one of them.